Hey guys, it's Cerulli and Jake bringing to you something totally new. As you are probably well aware, I am a huge Pokemon fan, and over time, I started to introduce myself into the competitive scene. I'm not exactly an expert, but I've had a lot of fun over the years building teams and duking it out with my friends. Now, I've happened upon a new opportunity, so I've decided to take full advantage of it and make some content out of it. I'll be participating in the Chufti Pokemon League, named after the content creator who designed it, Chufti Bear. He has gathered a host of other content creators to act as gym leaders and elites that I can battle on my road to champion. The catch is that I have to draft 10 Pokemon, and I can only use those 10 Pokemon the entire challenge. With that in mind, I would like to use this video to not only announce that I'll be uploading my battles with these gym leaders on this channel, but I'll also like to introduce the 10 draft picks. There were some limitations on the Pokemon that we were allowed to select, with many Pokemon being outright banned, but none of the Pokemon I select fit either of those criteria. The last rule you should know about is that the Pokemon I choose can change anything about their sets, except the Terra types, which must stay consistent over the entire challenge, so I'll go over those as well. With all that in mind, let's jump into my first pick. First up, we have my mascot Pokemon and ace, Ceruledge. There's a lot of fantastic fire Pokemon out there, and I understand that objectively, Ceruledge isn't the best when compared to the likes of Chi-Yu or Heatran, but you should never discount it. Ceruledge has a massive 125 attack stat, making it hard to switch in on. The rest of his stats are well balanced, allowing him to either run a bulky set with Bulk Up and a health-draining Bitter Blade, or focus on speed with Weak Armor. Most importantly is that Ceruledge offers 3 immunities against normal, fighting, and fire thanks to his Flash Fire ability, making him easier to switch in. The normal immunity also gives him a niche as a spin blocker so that my opponent can't get rid of hazards. I decided on Terra Grass for Ceruledge, so he can get around water types while still being immune to fire, one of Grass's most common weaknesses. Second, I locked in the best draft Pokemon in existence with Dragapult. He has an insane speed tier of 142 and can easily act as either a physical or special attacker with good stats in both. Most importantly, he acts as a pivot with U-turn, so my team can keep momentum. The fact that it's difficult to tell what Dragapult wants to accomplish is more than enough to justify his placement on the team. I chose Terra Ghost as an offensive Terra type. This not only makes Shadow Ball hit like a truck, but it also allows physical Dragapult a good Ghost Stab with Terra Blast. I knew I needed a bulky water, so I selected Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash isn't exactly the traditional bulky water you would be thinking of, but being limited to only 10 Pokemon, I wanted something versatile. Thanks to his electric typing, he only takes neutral damage to one of Water's 2 weaknesses, and if I Terrastallize him into an electric type, he becomes a bulky Pokemon with no weaknesses thanks to his Levitate ability. Pain Split allows him to stay healthy while also blocking physical wall breakers with Will-O-Wisp. Finally, his damage is no slouch, and he can fire off powerful Thunderbolts and Hydro Pumps, or pivot out with Volt Switch. The rules specify that gym leaders can select either singles or doubles, so I knew I needed some good combos. My next 2 picks come in a pair, but also function well in singles. First of the 2 is Sneasler. Sneasler is an incredible sweeper Pokemon. With the powerful ability Unburden, I can double his speed, making him faster than pretty much anything, and if I can manage to get a Swords Dance, he can set up and sweep. If for whatever reason I feel like using an item that doesn't get used up, Sneasler can also run Poison Touch, making him incredibly likely to status the foe in a single Dire Claw. I selected Terra Flying as both a defensive Terra type against ground types, but also to power up his acrobatics, which combos nicely with Unburden. Serving as Sneasler's support, but also a good Pokemon all of its own, we have Rillaboom. As I just said, Rilla's main role is setting up grassy terrain with his ability Grassy Surge, and then U-turning into Sneasler. This will proc Sneasler's Grassy Seeds for Unburden, also making him bulkier. That's all well and good, but what does Rillaboom bring to the table all on its own? Well, Rill is actually a very strong physical attacker and has one of the best priority moves in Grassy Glide. He also serves as an excellent bulky support in doubles with moves like Fake Out and Taunt. I selected Terra Fire to help him against fire types, which also baits out water, ground, or rock types. Not many of those types want to stand in front of a Rillaboom that out-prioritizes them. I also started to notice that my team had a few good bulky Pokemon, but I lacked an absolute wall. For that reason, I brought Gliscor. This thing is an absolute demon to take out with a base defense of 125. It also doesn't lack in the attack and speed department with 95 in both. This enables Gliscor to act as that all-out wall that I drafted him for, but he could also be a budget Landorus Therian with an offensive set. In most cases, his plan will be to set up hazards and Toxic Stall while healing up on his own Poison Heal. We do want to avoid matches that stall for too long though, thanks to not just respecting the content creator's time, but also the in-game timer that will make us lose. So Gliscor also acts as a potent Earthquake spammer in both sets. I chose Terra Water to block both of Gliscor's biggest weaknesses, water and ice. I now started to notice a lack of fairies and steel on my team, two of the best types in the game. I fixed the first by picking up Iron Valiant. This is a Pokemon I've never used before, but I know he's pretty good. He acts similar to Dragapult, being a mixed attacker, while having a great speed tier of 116. He also gets a bonus in that thanks to his ability Quark Drive being activated by Booster Energy. This makes Iron Valiant a great late game sweeper. He can also effectively act as a physical wall breaker with the Choice Band set in close combat. I chose Terra Fairy because having at least one Pokemon on your team with that Terra type is almost necessary when drafting a team. It mainly acts as an offensive Terra in this case, boosting either Moonblast or Spirit Break, but either way, it's useful. For my Steel type, I selected Goldengo, an incredibly versatile Pokemon thanks to his ability Good as Gold, which makes him immune to all status moves. This makes him a great switch-in, with 3 immunities and a potential 4th if he's holding an air balloon, and the complete immunity to any possible incoming status moves. Goldengo has many possible item selections, like the aforementioned air balloon, but also has things like a bulky leftovers set, or Trick Choice Scarf. Goldengo is also a great doubles Pokemon thanks to his signature move, Make It Rain, which is a base 120 steel move that hits both foes. It also helps it function as a special wall breaker in tandem with his Terra Steel. There isn't much that can switch in on that and walk away healthy. My last 2 picks are 2 Pokemon that aren't traditionally seen as top of the meta, but they both fill roles I was lacking, and they're honestly better than most people give them credit for. Currently, I have no way to remove hazards from my side of the field. Initially, I selected Cinderace since he's an incredible pivot Pokemon that takes care of hazards easily, but I noticed that I have plenty of pivots and Ceruledge is a reliable fire type, but I don't have a reliable water type. I don't want to count on Hydro Pump hitting all season, so I searched for a spinner that was also a good water type and settled on Quackable. Like I said, Quackable gets access to Rapid Spin, but he also has a lot of coverage ranging from water, fighting, flying, and ice. Outside of a spinner, Quackable can also function as a late game sweeper. The combination of his signature move Aqua Step and his ability Moxie allows him to get a Dragon Dance and attack in the same turn, so long as he secures a knockout. For this reason, I decided on Terra Water to buff up his ability to secure knockouts with Aqua Step. My last Pokemon needed to fill a major void I had in doubles. I was lacking not only speed control, but an Intimidate user. There's one Pokemon that fits both of those niches, and it's a classic pseudo-legendary Pokemon, Salamence. I loved this guy back in the day, but he's certainly fallen off as time goes on. But I'm excited to bring him back. Like most pseudo-legendary Pokemon, Salamence boasts great stats in both physical and special, and has a solid speed tier of 100. But his biggest purpose is what I said earlier. Intimidate is the best generic ability in doubles, and Tailwind allows my allies the much needed speed that allows them to beat faster foes. In singles, Salamence can act as either a good switch-in thanks to Intimidate, or better sweeping with Moxie. I went with Terra Steel since it allows Salamence to live long enough to set up a Tailwind as well as block his major weakness to Fairy. And that's it for my roster in the Chufti League. A lot of these Pokemon look super fun and I'm very excited to use them. Be sure to check out not only Chufti Bear, but all the various streamers that volunteered their time to participate as gym leaders and elites. I'll link the Twitter post that announced this league in the description, where you can find links to all the streamers. Good luck to all the gym leaders and other challengers out there. The battles start in early June. See you then.